Well, I figured as long as I have power, I can make videos while I have no internet. As you can see, it's still just crappy. It's coming and going. So I figured I sit here and drink my lovely coffee. I can make coffee and I can make videos. I'm good for today. But what I want to talk about in this, as the title in the banner there, the new box that I will be using. I had the other boxes that I thought would be good value to use because the room that it had its own power supply built in. For the first 2 years, they were good. They were made with some kind of like an ABS plastic or whatever. But after 2 years, 2.5 years, they started to become brittle. And also they had no ventilation. At first, that was not an issue. But as more people used the internet, not more people got on the internet, but the ones that was already on the internet starting to use it even more, which in turn made the equipment work harder, which in turn made the equipment generate more heat, and them boxes without fans could not handle it anymore, even though it's supposed to be able to dissipate the heat from it, but it just could not do it. And it was more of the modem that was dropping out than the Edge Router X, because I took the modem, done some testing. I took the modem out of the box. First, I took the Edge Router X out of the box so it can stay cool, and it was still dropping out, indicating that it was the modem that was having the issues. So I've done the very opposite. I took the modem out and put the Edge Router X in. Solved the problem. So it's the modem that was getting too hot and could not withstand being in the box itself. So Ubiquity equipment withstand all the heat that it was generating in there. I put it all back in the box. I ran a cord in there and plugged it into the Edge Router X, so when it dropped out, so if I still have access to it and to the APs and the CPEs, and be sure all that's working. And I did. I had access to everything. I just didn't have internet connection. And when I open up the web browser page of the Edge Router X, I can see the port ETH0 disconnect, but the rest of it saying it was still connected. So it was the modem that was getting too hot. Now I can relocate all the equipment to the inside of the structure wherever the backhaul is, but that would limit and hinder of me getting access to it when it has problems and I have no access to the building that it's in, a home or office or whatever it may be. So I have to solve that problem. So to solve that problem, I got some metal boxes, some heavy metal boxes, as you can see here. And we have one big port. It's like an 1.5 inch, 1.75 inch port here that where all the cords go in. And I can get the power cord that I use to feed. Let's see if we can get that back in there. Ooh, easier to get it out than it is to get it back in there. Let's see here. There we go. I can get the power cord in there with no problem because of the size of the hole. And it's got vents intakes on both sides. And inside, also you can see there's vents up here. And the reason why they have ventilation here is because up at the top you put a fan that will push out the hot air from the box and put it out of the soffit, basically out of the box itself. It will suck it into the vents here on the sides, pull air in here, and I can barely reach it, but the big hole right up in the middle up there, you can put a 80 millimeter or a 90 millimeter fan there, and it will blow out the soffits here while the door is closed. And it has a lock on it, so that's come in handy. I got other boxes like this that does not have any vents on the side, nor does it have the cap on top with soffits. I'm trying to figure out a way to put a fan in the bottom. Maybe it has one big plate here on the bottom, so maybe I put a hole here and a hole here, like like this one here. Put 3 holes like this, and put a fan here, put a fan here, and put all the ports here. Have this fan blowing in, and have this fan down here pulling out. That should work. I got maybe 2, maybe 3 of them boxes, which is basically the same as this box without the cap and ability to put the fan and the vents on the side. It's a very heavy box, very solid. I don't have to worry about it. I don't think of being out in the weather. And also it has a adjustable shelf where I can actually put the modem on the top of that shelf, and then put all my equipment and the power and all down underneath. Just depends on what I got to have in there, but haven't put one actually out in the field yet, so it will depend on each setup exactly where I put that shelf. I don't know if I'm going to put the modem on top and all the Edge Router X and all that on the bottom, or put the shelf low enough to put everything on it. I don't know if I would have enough to put everything on or not. After I put the modem there, there might not be much room left. But that is the source of the problem, is the heat of the modem. So if I put the modem pretty much up there in the middle and let it just have air circulating all around it and being pulled out from the top of it, I should have the problem of the overheating completely resolved. And as I sit here and make this video, I'm looking at the pings over here, and they start to look a little bit more favorable of getting back to normal. Not many dropouts. Even the computer says I have internet. Now, I don't know if I have internet or not, but right now it's getting a lot better. And another thing I found out as well is I done a speed test here yesterday. And normally I get 315, 350. Well, it got up to 340 and just kept climbing. 360, 70, 80, 90, 400, 415, 430. I'm like, okay, it's just a fluke. Well, I did 5 tests and it did the same thing. I said, okay, maybe it's the app. It was the Wi-Fi man. I went to speedtest.net, same results. I went to Xfinity, and same thing. It didn't matter where I went to do a test, I got the same results. I'm like, this is not a fluke. Something's going on. So I investigated and come find out that the backhaul provider now the lowest package they have is not 300 anymore, it's 400. So now I haven't tested it, haven't went out because the storm, and it's going in and out everywhere. But after the storm's gone, I'm going to go test and see if my theory is correct and the information I've received and seen on my backhaul provider. The smallest package is 400 now. Now, does that mean I have 400 on all of my backhaul connections? That'll be wonderful. That means I can do so much more now with that. Well, I guess I don't have internet because I just went to Wi-Fi, man, and I get nothing. So apparently I have no internet. But that's the way it goes. It's still coming and going. By the time it can ping and then all my equipment starts getting internet, it's already dropped out. So it's just a non-circling process. It'll ping 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 times, like with 50 milliseconds, and then it's timed out twice, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times. So it's just a matter of time of them getting it fixed. But this is the new box that I will be using as in the backhauls itself. I will put a link to this box in the description. They have different sizes. This box is one size up from the ABS boxes that I've been using. The one that I just put a fan on because it's been overheating. I thought it was bad equipment, but then I started looking at the data that's being used, and they're pretty much during the day now, they're staying 50 megabits per second or higher, sometimes up to 70 and 80, which is unnormal. It's not normal for that particular site to be that high this time of year. Usually they're 30 megs or lower. Very few people there. But it seems like people are staying at their RV longer visits instead of just a weekend or a week. I've seen some now that will stay for a month or two at no end. I mean, not like come there and go back. It's like they come beginning of the month, they stay all that month and stay all next month, and they're actually working out of their RV. A lot of them has asked or requested to increase their speed package because I get notification through WISP that somebody has asked to change their speed package. And I've started reaching out to them and asked why they want to have it increased. Are they having problems? None of them said they had any problems with the internet. They all said they just be there more and they're having more family members over, and I would say probably 30% of them saying they're doing remote work from there. So they need to do video conference. Um, so they just need more speed. They said the speed is not enough to be able to work from there, so they need to increase it. And it's been working no problem. So now they can actually, instead of going in to work, they can sit at their RV and do their work and then be on like a vacation time at their RV relaxing. I mean, what better can you, better life than that? Instead of going to work and clocking in, doing the work, then at the end of the day, clock out, then go home. Be at your RV relaxing while you're not working. And if you're not having video conference, you could be doing your work, but you be in a relaxing atmosphere. It's nice to see people using it more than just occasionally here and there when they're able to get away. They're actually able to get away more often now because of they have good internet, as long as a storm is not going through or around you. But it's dropping out here up in Jacksonville, Sneeze Ferry, Surf City. I got information that internet's going out there at Lake Waccamaw, which is an hour and a half south, which is even closer to the storm, which I'm surprised that theirs were staying online when it was getting disconnected and dropping out up here, further away from the storm. Seemed like it would be the other way around, but it just happened to be where the connection that feeds this area, Jacksonville and Sneeze Ferry and all, according to what feeds Lake Waccamaw. It may not be affected. It may not be in the same area wherever it's coming from. That's the unique thing about internet, the way infrastructure is built. You never know when it's going to go out unless you know how it's actually put together. I mean, it could be going out here, even though it's affected. What's affecting it is, 200-300 miles away from here that actually feeds this area. But I'm just glad I got good people that's using the internet that understands that a storm that is hundreds of miles away can be affecting the internet, even though it's just a little breezy outside, no rain or anything. But we do have a warning saying, I think it was Jacksonville, says tornado watch. So the wind is getting quite breezy around here. But this is the new box that I will be installing. Haven't decided exactly where I'm going to install it first. I do believe the one that I feed the RV park with fiber, because the backhaul is in a house and the fibers ran 600 feet to get into the RV park. That box there has the connection for all the APs and all. Now that I got the backhaul provider to run a main trunk line into the RV park, I no longer have to run that fiber to get internet in the RV park. So I'm going to contact the backhaul provider to get them to relocate it from the house address to the address of the RV park, so I can have the modem in the park itself. Now the fiber is probably going to stay there because the homeowner where the backhaul is now, they're retiring and they want to cut their cost all they can on everything possible. And I can provide them good internet, since they helped us to get internet for the whole park. We give them a good speed package at a very reasonable price, just to say thank you of helping us get internet into the park until we got our backhaul provider to get a main trunk line in the RV park itself. So I'll leave the fiber. Instead of the fiber feeding the RV park will feed back the opposite direction and feed the home where the backhaul is now. That's probably the one that I will actually be putting this box up first. It's going to be nice to see this ping keep pinging instead of dropping out. But it's getting better. A lot better. It's like good 25 good pings than 2 bad ones. As you see right there, it has all these nice ones, and then you get 2, then a few more. So, I mean, that's the way it's been. Let's see, but the way it was, as you can see, it was real bad. But it's getting there. But that's the box that I will be using, and if it works well there. And the reason why I went a little bit bigger is because I don't know if they going to give me the new modem that they use now for business, which is a lot bigger, maybe 1.5 inches or so, maybe 2 inches bigger and fatter. And actually it has a battery that slips on the bottom for backup. And they said it lasts a few hours when the power goes out. So I want something adequate enough to be able to fit that in, just in case they don't just give me one of the old kind of modems. They may just take the one that I got and just move it and change the address on it and call it a day. I don't know. But I need to put this box up and get the coax from their tap into the box. So all they got to do is come there and put it in and provision it, get it connected, and be sure they get the address changed and all in the account and call it a day. Hopefully it's going to be that simple, but I want it all in this box. Go ahead and put all my equipment in this box. Then all they got to do is come put their modem in this box, plug in the coax, plug in the power, and then I can take the Ethernet wire that's coming from the fiber Ethernet converter and plug it into the modem, which will automatically feed the RV park. And then from the switch, or not from the switch, but the Edge Router X, plug in a port there and feed back to the Ethernet fiber converter and send internet back to where the backhaul is coming from now and give that house internet. Hopefully it'll work out that easy. Don't know. But this is a nice box, and I'll put a link in the description. And I'm waiting for the fans to come in. They say it's supposed to be here tomorrow. It still has not shipped. So apparently what they're doing is waiting for another item I got to come in that same area, put it all together, and then send it all at once. I've seen that happen. So as soon as that comes in, I'll make a video of putting the fan in here and putting a thermostat, figure out exactly where I'm going to put the thermostat, how I'm going to get USB power supply in here. I found something that I may be able to use, but we'll see. But thank you for subscribing, liking, commenting, sharing, and all that great stuff that just helps the channel to get out and grow and get to more viewers. And I will see you in the next video. Stay safe if you're in the storm that's coming through. It's a mess. I think it was a Category 4 when it hit land. I think it's about time. I don't know what time they said it's supposed to hit, but it may already have. But if you're affected, hopefully the best. Just stay safe.